Chapter 1. The Arrival. Dr. Elara Voss stood on the observation deck of the Interstellar Research Station Elysium, her eyes fixed on the swirling vortex of the nebula outside. The station orbited a distant planet, Zorath, home to a mysterious alien species known as the KRYLL. The KRYLL were a reclusive race, their society shrouded in secrecy, and their king, Lord Kaelion, was a figure of legend. Elara had been assigned to the station as its chief medical officer, tasked with studying the KRYLL's unique biology and, if possible, establishing diplomatic relations. Her first encounter with the KRYLL was anything but diplomatic. A KRYLL shuttle docked unexpectedly, and a delegation emerged, led by none other than King Kaelion himself. He was tall, his skin a shimmering silver, his eyes like molten gold. His presence was commanding, yet there was a sadness in his gaze that intrigued Elara. Beside him stood a young KRYLL girl, no more than 10 Earth years old. She had the same silver skin and golden eyes, but her demeanor was timid, her small hand clutching her father's. This was Princess Liora, the king's only child and heir to the KRYLL throne. Dr. Voss, Kaelion's voice was deep, resonant. I have come to seek your assistance. My daughter is ill, and our healers cannot cure her. I have heard of your expertise. Will you help her? Elara's heart ached at the sight of the frail princess. Of course, your majesty. I'll do everything I can. Chapter 2. The Bond. Elara worked tirelessly, studying Liora's condition. The princess suffered from a rare genetic disorder unique to the KRYLL, a result of their prolonged exposure to the radiation of their dying son. Elara spent countless hours in the lab, analyzing data, running simulations, and consulting with Earth's top geneticists. During this time, she grew closer to Kaelion. He often visited the lab, watching her work with a mixture of hope and fear. They spoke of many things: his people's history, their struggles, and his own fears as a father. Elara found herself drawn to his strength and vulnerability, and Kaelion, in turn, was captivated by her intelligence and compassion. Liora, too, became fond of Elara. The young princess, confined to the sterile environment of the Med Bay, found solace in the doctor's stories of Earth and its wonders. Elara would sit by her bedside, weaving tales of vast oceans, towering mountains, and cities that sparkled like stars. Chapter 3. The Cure. After months of relentless effort, Elara discovered a potential cure, a gene therapy that could repair the damaged DNA in Liora's cells. However, the treatment was risky, and the KRYLL's biology was vastly different from humans. There was no guarantee it would work. Kaelion stood by Elara as she prepared the treatment. If this fails, he said, his voice trembling, I will not blame you. You have given us hope, and for that, I am eternally grateful. Elara placed a hand on his arm. It won't fail. I won't let it. The procedure was tense, every second stretching into an eternity. Elara monitored Liora's vitals closely, her heart pounding with each beep of the monitor. Hours passed, and then, finally, the reading stabilized. Liora's condition began to improve. Tears streamed down Kaelion's face as he embraced his daughter. Thank you, he whispered to Elara, his voice choked with emotion. You have saved her. Chapter 4. The Conflict. As Liora recovered, Elara and Kaelion's bond deepened. They spent more time together, sharing their hopes and dreams. Elara learned of Kaelion's desire to lead his people into a new era, free from the shadow of their dying son. Kaelion, in turn, listened to Elara's dreams of bridging the gap between humans and KRYLL, of a future where their two species could coexist in peace. But their growing closeness did not go unnoticed. The KRYLL Council, wary of outsiders, viewed Elara with suspicion. They feared that Kaelion's affection for her would weaken their traditions and lead to their downfall. One night, as Elara and Kaelion walked through the station's gardens, they were confronted by a group of KRYLL soldiers. "Your Majesty," their leader said, "the Council has decreed that the human must leave. She is a threat to our way of life." Kaelion's eyes blazed with anger. "Elara is no threat. She has saved my daughter, and she has shown us a path to a better future. I will not banish her." The soldiers hesitated, but their loyalty to the Council was unwavering. "We have our orders, Your Majesty." Elara stepped forward, her voice calm but firm. "I will go. I don't want to cause any more conflict." Kaelion reached for her hand. "No, Elara. I won't let them take you." Chapter 5. The Choice. The station was thrown into chaos as Kaelion and the soldiers faced off. Elara knew that if she stayed, it would only escalate the tension between the KRYLL and the humans. She made a difficult decision. "Kaelion," she said, her voice breaking, "I have to go. For the sake of your people, for Liora, I can't stay." Kaelion's heart ached, but he understood. "Then I will go with you. I cannot bear to be apart from you." Elara shook her head. "You are their king. They need you, and Liora needs her father." Kaelion pulled her into a tight embrace. "I will find a way for us to be together. I promise." Chapter 6. The Reunion. Years passed. Elara returned to Earth, but her heart remained with Kaelion and Liora. She continued her work, advocating for peace between humans and KRYLL, but the memory of her time on Elysium never faded. One day, as she stood on a cliff overlooking the ocean, a familiar voice called her name. She turned to see Kaelion, his silver skin glowing in the sunlight, his golden eyes filled with love. "I have kept my promise," he said. "The KRYLL have chosen a new path, one of openness and unity, and I have come to take you home." Elara's heart soared as she ran into his arms. "And Liora?" she asked. Kaelion smiled. "She is waiting for us. She has grown into a wise and compassionate leader, thanks to you." Chapter 7. The Future. Elara returned to Zorath, where she was welcomed as a hero. She and Kaelion were married in a ceremony that united their two worlds, a symbol of hope and unity. Liora, now a young woman, stood by their side, her health restored and her spirit unbroken. Together, they worked to build a future where humans and KRYLL could thrive, their love a beacon of light in a universe often shrouded in darkness. And as they looked out at the stars, they knew that their story was just the beginning of a new chapter in the history of their worlds.